and welcome back to Generic Sports Podcast. I'm your host, the Goose, Josh.
And I'm John,
And today we're going to talk about the NFL Divisional Round.
which I called the Defensive Divisional Round last week.
And we had some pretty defensive games, at least, for the first half of the games. I mean, the Ravens defense came up, showed up. They held the offense of the Texans to 3 points. They had only reason they got a touchdown was special teams. So
Yeah, that was a good special teams touchdown, but it was surprising that the Texans couldn't get anything done offensively.
Yeah, I mean, especially since C.J. Stroud had such a good year. But I mean, but they were the team to hold. They played the same way the first week. You would have thought something different, but C.J. Stroud, the Texans often just didn't have a good game that week. So
Right.
and they didn't have a good game this week. So it's unfortunate, but oh my gosh, I am so here for the Texans Packers Super Bowl. Stroud versus Love. I'm here for that. Like maybe next year, 2 years.
Right. I mean, I feel like honestly, I think it's better that CJ got it's good that CJ got as far as he did here, but if you imagine winning the Super Bowl as a rookie, it feels like if you don't reach up there, it's like it's all downhill from there.
Right.
Like for a rookie quarterback, like to win the Super Bowl, there's going to be like so much expectation, but he might be like Ben Roethlisberger and win it next year.
He could. I mean, or at least be like Joe Burrow, get there. Like it's going to be an interesting season. Like honestly, we'll see how these teams do. Like I'm not going to count out Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow, but like if this next wave of people could fight for some of these Super Bowls, I really think we're going to see a little more changing of the guard, because right now Mahomes is a veteran. He's actually kind of old when you think about it. Not that he's old, but he's only 28. But he's been in the league for so long now. Like you see how some of these rookie quarterbacks have made it to the Super Bowl, or when they don't have the big contract and stuff. Like you see how far they get, and we'll probably see that again. Not this season,
right,
but over the next couple of years, I feel like we will.
Well, it depends on is age deteriorating Patrick Mahomes, but is age affecting Patrick Mahomes?
No, I mean I don't. I just say that I didn't say anything like that. I meant that he's just.
I mean that as going forward, that might be a factor that changes who gets into the playoffs and stuff. But
I think it's going to depend on the team's health more so than his health. I mean, there's only so much more that Travis Kelce can really play at the high level he's at. I mean, unless you just save him for the second half in the postseason. but other than that, it's
Kelce brothers are going to be hired to going to be like the McCourty. They're going to be hired to some broadcasting team.
I don't know. I really could see Jason Kelce being a coach. I think he's got that right energy for that.
I can see that. Travis, I could see go into he has charisma. I think he could go into something like Peyton or Eli.
But we'll see. I'm honestly not that really interested in them. They're fine. I'm not I'm not super interested in them. I just think I realistically just remember the speech that Jason Kelce gave at Super Bowl parade, and that just speaks to me like a player coach. You'd want to see him, coaching like Dan Campbell.
Yeah,
I feel like he brings that energy.
And I mean, Dan Campbell was on he's literally he literally played for the 0-16 Lions team, and now he's taking the Lions the furthest they've gone
since '91.
Yeah.
So, anyways, Ravens. We were talking about the Ravens. CJ Stroud. He's got he did great in his first year. I can't wait to see him next season. Trevor Lawrence better improve, because the Texans can keep this thing on locked down. Even the Colts, I don't feel like they've got. I feel like they can get better, and they could be a continual wild card, or at least fighting for the division. But I'm not. The Jaguars really got to keep pace. So
I just hope if Bobby Slowick gets a head coaching job, I hope a lot of it is CJ, and it's not like the combination of CJ and Bobby Slowick that are doing really that.
I at least think Bobby Slowick needs to stay another year, make sure everything, see how it goes again, 'Cause if not, like, I think they'll just replace him in-house and, do so, move the next guy up. But I think it can be good to just get another year under. It's kind of like Ben Johnson.
It's up to Bobby Slowick, but I know he's had a lot of interviews.
Well, it's up to him, but it's
also up to the team.
I was gonna say it's up to the team, so we'll see. We'll see. I feel like it's good experience for him to get the head coaching interviews and stuff, but I don't know if I want to see. I want to just see a little more out of him.
To be fair, I thought of one spot that might hire him, and it's only because they don't want to play him twice a year.
Maybe,
but it sounds like a weird Titans-like move, especially since I don't know what a Titans move is anymore after getting rid of Mike Vrabel.
Yeah. We'll talk about that later because we're the Ravens though. Like we gotta talk about them because they are like I feel like I shouldn't believe in them until they play the Chiefs, but they feel so dominant. Like
when we watched the game, like Lamar went into the back into the locker room before like the half was over. Like it was like 20 seconds left, and like they were on defense or whatever, and like was just going to kneel down or whatever. But you could just see like there was like just like I don't know, it was like anger or he was just like sick of this shit, like that, like all the like playoff Lamar stuff, like the media and people have been saying on Twitter and stuff like that. He was just like, no, I'm not letting this happen, and just came out in the second half and destroyed them. So if that motivation's in his head, then good luck stopping them.
I mean, I don't really know. I truthfully don't know how much. Like Lamar doesn't feel like one of those ones that listens to a lot of the stuff. I really don't know though. But I definitely know that even if you don't listen to it, it's in the back of your head. Even you know your record. You know how well you do. That because we'll talk about it more later. But those those records and stuff, those were in Josh Allen's head at the end of his game. But be it if he heard the media or not, he knew his record, and he didn't want CJ Stroud to have a better record in his first year than him.
Yeah, we'll see how Lamar does next week, but this is like they look like one of the best teams. They won and dominated who they had to dominate from the end of they rightfully got the number 1 seed. The only ones who could really stop them were people in their own division, and they don't have to face anyone in their own division anymore.
Well, and they're going to play a team that they've already, if they make it to the Super Bowl, they're going to play a team that they've already played in either the Lions or the 49ers. And I don't think it's going to be the same matchup that they had both times. Like they're definitely going to watch, both teams are going to watch film. So we'll see what happens. But I for one am hoping for the Ravens to make it to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Mostly because, I mean, first I'm a Broncos fan. So I can't root for the Chiefs, even though I can say I like Patrick Mahomes. Like the stuff about like it just feels better than like Tom Brady. Like there's the energy behind it or whatever, Like I might be annoyed by it, but it's still,
Right. I'm annoyed at like seeing Patrick Mahomes all over the commercials and stuff, but he's not as bad as like you see Tom Brady. We saw Tom Brady and we just had like this negative energy to him.
Yeah, just like But I still don't want the Chiefs to win, get to the Super Bowl or win it. But we'll move on to them and we'll just stay in the AFC. I don't want to say they played a game and they won the game. I don't think either team. I think they played good enough to win as much as the Bills played bad enough to lose at the end.
Pretty much.
I don't want to take away credit because I say bad enough to lose. I think they played good enough to lose because they didn't play that great or good. They didn't really play. The second half, I don't think they did as as good as they should have. Like Buffalo scored nothing in the second half or in the fourth quarter. And there's a couple things. They like it was a pretty defensive game if you really look at it. Like nobody, like Josh Allen threw 186 yards, Patrick Mahomes threw for 215. They basically, if you put that together, they averaged about 200 yards. Nobody, it was a running game. The defenses played good, and you know what? If that's how that's the thing. It's like you can say all you want about the Chiefs. I give them great credit for coming out and winning that game because the Bills had the home field advantage, but they had a big chunk of people that were hurt. And not to say it as an excuse, but like if the Chiefs on the road beat the Bills by 3 points because part of it and there were parts of the defense not being there, like they're gonna have to pull a miracle for how to play against that Ravens team, because Ravens in Baltimore at home, this is the first time they're hosting the AFC Championship game. They've won 2 Super Bowls, never hosted an AFC Championship game. So good. Like I think the Chiefs I know you said it off when we were just talking about the games earlier. This is going to be the hardest game of their season, no doubt. And when you look at the score, like it's like this time they actually got they got touchdowns. But like my biggest thing is, and this is why I talked to a few friends online, but this is why I blame Josh Allen as 50% of the problem. I give Diggs some problems too because he missed a good catchable ball, but after that was like the second time Josh Allen went deep. The first one he was close with Shearfield, and that was close. He dropped it. It could have saved the day on third down. I got him closer to the end zone. But that was the thing. At the end of the game, Josh Allen was trying to hit that home run in the end zone, and he couldn't get it the first 2 times to Diggs and Shearfield. We kept trying on second down and third down in a game where there was less than 3 minutes left. I think it was actually less than 2 by a certain amount of time. And he was just trying to make it happen in the end zone. He didn't need to do that. He had Diggs running a flat route, I believe. He was underneath a really short route, maybe 5 yards deep. He was wide open. There was not a man near him. He could have made that first down but Josh Allen wanted to go for the deep ball in the end zone, and he did it twice. So second and third down. And to me, he tried to play as one of my favorites one of my favorite sports guys said hero ball. Kevin Wild said that Josh Allen was playing hero ball, and I really feel that is absolutely true, because if he tried for the short, because he had it on third down, he had short passes too that you could have had your receivers going for it, and he wanted to win it all, and that hurt the team. He cost them the game in the end, and you can't tell me otherwise, because like I think Sean McDermott's going to basically fall on the dagger,
fall on the sword, whatever.
Fall on the sword. He's probably getting fired. I can't imagine, because you can't do, like, Josh Allen is going to be safe again. And honestly, I think you need a Jim Harbaugh or Bill Belichick to rein him in, because they win that. I think they could have won that game if Josh Allen didn't try to play hero ball. And you know what? I do think it was a mistake to send Tyler Bass out there for a 53-yarder. He didn't look like the same kicker he had for most of his career in this last month or so. He's missed a few kicks, I think, in your game, something like that, against the Dolphins at the end of the season. But besides that, that was only to tie the game and still give Mahomes time to get a field goal. So, I love Josh Allen, but now I don't know if I can believe in him anymore. So he feels like the Dallas Cowboys. What am I supposed to believe in? What does he have? I mean, he's got more playoff wins because he's won the divisional round every year, but the wild card round, and then he loses in the divisional round. He made it to 1 AFC Championship game.
He lost. So what? He beat two. He beat what was it? 2 backup quarterbacks and an older Phillip Rivers, and Lamar got hurt in 1 game for his playoff win. So he hasn't beaten the best. He's like Miami's this season with Miami. We couldn't beat the good teams. He can't beat the actual good starting quarterbacks in the playoffs.
And I believe Deshaun Watson even beat him back in the Texans. So I remember that game. He came out so great. I remember, I think the Bills were up like 24-0 or something, and the Texans came back and won that game. I think that was 2018 or 2019, I think, because that was was his first season, right?
I think they just need and they were doing it more this season, but they should have ran the ball more. I know they were getting stopped, but like even Josh Allen could have ran the ball more and made some of the first downs like in 3 minutes left.
Right? Why are we not? I just don't understand why we don't try the screen, play action a little bit more. Like you were trying to, you were getting some runs there. Play action, the run pass options, some end arounds, especially with the tight ends. Like why not have something more Dalton Kincaid? Like Kincaid has been your. I feel like Kincaid and Shakir were great this season. I think it's time for. I will not doubt that Stephon Diggs wants to move on. I know there's some time left on the contract, but I can see a parting of ways there.
Well, yeah, here's the thing. They might go for newer receivers or stuff because Stephon Diggs looks like he wants out. Like they don't fucking throw the ball to him.
Well, when he does, he didn't catch it either. He should have caught that ball. Like that was a good. That was in his hands.
Yeah, Stephon Diggs only had 3 receptions and was targeted 8 times.
So they do throw to him. He doesn't catch it. That's what it sounds like to me. He caught less than 50% of his balls.
Still, we don't know how. I don't remember how each one of them were, but still, that's a problem. And Gabe Davis is also a free agent. So, and I don't know if he's done enough to pay him.
Not if T. Higgins is a free agent and you could sign him. Easy number 2 guy. You could, if AJ Brown wants out.
Yeah, you trade for AJ Brown.
Trade for AJ Brown. Like literally just do the whole thing with just trade the number 1 pick again. At least AJ Brown I know would be worth it.
Or see if they would take Stephon Diggs for him, but I don't you might need to throw in some extra, but
yeah, you could trade Stephon Diggs and a number 2.
Yeah, maybe a lower draft pick. Yeah. Still, the Bills, like, I was legitimately upset. I'm a Dolphins fan. These are my rivals, and I'm legitimately upset that they didn't win because they should have won. This was the team that came back, stole the East from us, and because we were injured, and they should have been able to win this game. And,
go for
it. They should have just been able to win this game. I know, you can't. They're going to get a better kicker as well. I feel Tyler Bass is gone too.
Yeah, I think he hasn't been the same. I don't feel, but I know kickers are hard to come by, so it's a coin toss.
I don't know. Check the XFL ones. See where Brandon Aubrey. I forget where he came from. Like what he was doing, soccer or something, or rugby.
Roll the dice for somebody.
So, just try to convince someone to be a kicker for you.
You never know,
right? Check the Canadian League. They know how to kick in cold weather. It's Canada. Anyway, but they really, Josh Allen, he put everything on his back, and he tried too hard, and this is just Josh Allen. This is just how Josh Allen is. I think he let the Superman thing go to his head, and that he needed to be the superhero.
At the very end, he didn't play that way the entire game. I remember watching it. He tried a couple deep balls. It wasn't working, and then he was forcing it. He didn't run with it. He didn't try to get some out to. I remember there was this 4th down play where Shakir was running, and then he just ran, and nobody covered him because it looked like he was going to run it, and then he tossed it, and he made 10 yards on a 4th and 1, and I'm just like, why are we not doing that? Where was Latavius Murray too? They were talking about the run game.
He had the same amount of catches as Stephon Diggs. Latavius Murray, they did not use him in the run game, but
and that speaks volumes to me. So
yeah, James Cook ran for 61 times for 18 yards. Ty Johnson got 40 yards, and Josh Allen was the leading rusher, 72 yards. And Josh Allen, I felt, didn't run enough because I swear I forget which quarter it is. We saw that pass. He tried to go for that pass he had all day, but if he ran for it, he would have made the first down really easy. I don't know why he didn't run for it more. I don't know what he was thinking, and I feel like Josh Allen might need a change of scenery. I don't know if this is good for him or if they're going for a new coaching staff. If a new coaching staff can bring out the best in Josh Allen.
It would not surprise me if we saw Josh Allen traded in the next year or 2. Josh Allen, is he great? I can't tell you if he's great. Let's take a moment and say right now, are you sure? Who would you rather take a shot on besides Josh Allen? I would rather have Patrick Mahomes right now, Lamar Jackson, let's see, Brock Purdy, Jared Goff, because guess what? Jared Goff, you want to know what Jared Goff and Brock Purdy have in common?
Playoff wins?
Not just playoff wins.
Quality playoff wins?
second champion NFC championship game for both of them. And one of them, either Jared Goff makes his second Super Bowl or Brock Purdy's making his first. So everybody in the divisional round. Jordan Love, I think, has a higher upside. CJ Stroud has a higher upside. So that's at least 6 right now that I would take. Baker played close, so like maybe Baker. It's like I could argue you can argue Baker had a good season. I mean, and like that's the thing. It's like Baker did better. Baker and Josh Allen both lost in the same round, but Baker had a better season because the expectations were lower. Like I don't know if people did not expect Baker to get there, and they were really close to making a championship to the championship round. And we'll talk about the game because that was arguably the NFC was the better games of the weekend.
So yeah, the Bills, because they love to use this word, the Bills are an SBOB team.
Well, they as in first things first love to use that. But
they were a Super Bowl or bust team, and they busted. But the Buccaneers were not that. The Buccaneers' expectations were not I don't think they expected to go this far because they magically won the division with a losing record last time. They did better this season, and they made it further in the playoffs. So I feel, that's why the Buccaneers did have a more successful season than the Bills.
Yeah, but back on the quarterback, because I wanted to finish up.
Yes,
did you have any other quarterbacks? Is the only other quarterbacks that I think I would take right now, before Josh Allen, are Matthew Stafford and Joe Burrow. Everybody else, we said what? Patrick Mahomes, everybody in the championship, everybody else in the divisional round, and Baker is questionable, but you know what? I think Baker has better control over the ball and not going to give it away. So I do kind of I feel like I like Baker a little bit more, but Matthew Stafford and Joe Burrow. So I would put Josh Allen between 9 and 10 right now. I don't anybody else, not counting any rookies coming in.
Right, not counting any rookies.
Because I'm I can imagine a few like Caleb and
he was on
Penix and Bo Nix and Daniels.
There was 3 that come to mind. 2 were questionable. The third one's questionable, but he was on the way to having an MVP season until he got injured. But honestly, I feel like I'd take Kirk Cousins over Josh Allen.
I feel they're about the same. They make it in the divisional round, and that's about it. So
Dak, I feel, is at the same level as him because I think.
Well, did I not say earlier that they are the Cowboys?
Dak's probably. I feel like maybe it's coaching. I feel like it's not really on Dak. I feel like the game was more on Josh Allen and the game was more on Dak because they almost came back. I mean, almost.
They started slow. It was the defense also. It's the defense. Both sides started slow on with the Cowboys. But what was the other one?
I'm biased, but it's just I know. But he's only been in one playoff. He's only been on one playoff game, and we played horribly. But I feel Tua is about the same level, but we haven't seen the Dolphins in the playoff round just yet. But he's shown. I'm just basing it on potential, and we know what I feel like I don't know if Josh Allen can change from how he is. We know who Josh Allen is, while Tua has continued to improve each season. So I don't know. I think Josh Allen's at his ceiling. I don't think Tua has reached his ceiling yet. That's just kind of, and that's just a personal thing. But it's also my opinion, so why not?
Hey, that's fine. But I think Josh Allen's out of the top 5 quarterbacks in my opinion.
Oh, easily.
Lamar's moved up there. Patrick Mahomes is definitely the top. I hate to love him, but I will respect him. I will. It's like everybody wishes you had somebody like him. I love what I see out of him because he definitely does not have a give up attitude and stuff like that. So
it'll depend. Basically, to me, it'll depend on what happens basically the next 2 games with the Ravens and all before I want to say Lamar's better than him. But for right now, I'll say Patrick is. But if Lamar, the attitude I saw, just Lamar going in and the attitude he came out with destruction in his eyes, just what he did to the Texans. If he comes out with that fiery passion against the Chiefs and can get to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl, I feel like I would easily be able to say Lamar is better than Patrick, but right now I'm saying that.
But Joe Burrow, I
Joe
think
Burrow easily, as long as he's healthy, obviously.
And if he's like everything, like here's hoping like it's a good season for But right now, I'd also like how can you tell me not Brock Purdy? Like, okay, so we can have a whole discussion about like the Brock Purdy, system quarterback, he has all these weapons, yada yada yada. Everybody,
I forget if it was
all
Terry,
of them has that.
I forget if it was Terry Bradshaw or Jimmy Johnson. I forget who said it, but we're all system quarterbacks, because
it was Terry, because he said we're
yeah,
all.
That's what I thought. I read a tweet that said it was Jimmy, but I was like, no, it had to be Terry, because it said we're all system quarterbacks. Still,
at least as far as I'm
right,
thinking, with the way that quote sounds.
Right, you're a system. Your system needs weapons. You get great weapons for your quarterback. If your quarterback cannot succeed with great weapons and a great O-line, then they are not even a system. You are worse than a system quarterback, and that is why Trey Lance is on the Cowboys. But no offense to Trey Lance.
And we'll see if Brock Purdy gets to them to a Super Bowl and they win one. Best Niners quarterback since Steve Young, because Steve Young was the last one to win one, and he's got the numbers up there too. So we'll and hey, what are we supposed to say? Oh, they missed on Brock Purdy. Everybody else passed him. Well, you know how many teams and picks there were? 198 picks before somebody picked Tom Brady. So oh no, there was an extra 50 picks or something till they picked Brock Purdy. So there was only an extra round and a half or something. It was basically, oh no, there was an extra round. They didn't pick Brock Purdy. So
you can't.
What's the difference here? One round.
If everyone could tell the potential of each player, then drafts would go totally different. Micah Parsons might have been a number one pick. Like, right? Would have been a higher pick, but still, you just don't know. And, Brock took advantage of his opportunity and is doing insanely well.
Right? So, okay. I think we're good on quarterbacks.
Who'd be 5?
Well, who did we say? Because I know we
said Patrick, Lamar,
Joe, Lamar,
Brock.
And honestly, I know he's up there, and I know he has a good team, but I feel like it's the same thing. As long as he's healthy, he's got the talent around him, and he's shown he brings out the best in talent, because he's had 3 great wide receivers in his time as a quarterback that he's really gotten their numbers. So it's got to be part on him and part on them. So I gotta say, can we argue that Matthew Stafford's not a top quarterback? I mean, he got hurt last season, but and
look how bad they did,
right? And they've been rebuilding, so it's like they could definitely make another Super Bowl run with Matthew Stafford. I mean, he's probably at like right there at the edge of like his prime and downfall. His age falling down. Having a bit of showing his age
decline.
Thank you. So he's right there, but he could get. There's a chance they could win one more Super Bowl with him.
Well, I'll give you the. Here's my argument of who I think might be a top 5, but it depends on how far. It might also, like with Lamar, depend on how far they go. But how he's shown technically, and he's using his weapons fantastically.
Is he still in the game? Is he still in the playoffs?
Yes.
So Jared Goff.
It is Jared Goff.
Because you can argue that too, because he had a great season too. He had. So is there a top 5? I think there's a good top half dozen, and you could argue where everybody goes, but obviously Patrick Mahomes is the top. But like Lamar wins the Super Bowl, he's gonna be up there. Brock's gonna be up there. Matthew Stafford, like he's the only other guy who's won a Super Bowl that's still in the league right now besides Aaron Rodgers, and he won his back in like 2009, the 2009 season. So it's really Mahomes. Like there
is another quarterback who wins all this.
I mean, it's Mahomes and Stafford, right? Am I forgetting?
Out of what? What was you were saying? Quarterbacks that have just won a Super Bowl that are still in the league?
Oh, well, I know Russ is.
Yeah, it was Russ who I was saying. I'm like, yeah, Russell Wilson is still here, but we kind of put him on the lower end.
But Trevor Siemian was the starting quarterback this year too, and he won a Super Bowl ring.
Technically, Joe Flacco as well.
True. But I think it's more than just a Super Bowl ring. It's how they're playing too.
Yes. Russ we don't need to get into. We can do something else. We don't need to get into Russ. We don't need to get into Joe Flacco.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go on to the NFC.
Yeah.
So we were talking about Stafford and Jared Goff. So might as well go into the Lions and the Bucks, and that was a really good game. I enjoyed. Like I was eating during it. I was like, holy crap! It's at halftime. Like this game's going by. Like it's been so good, and like I can't believe how fast it was going. And it was the score. The way the score was, they were tied going into the fourth.
Right. It just kept going back and forth with this game. You score, I score. You score, I score.
Right. And honestly, the biggest mistakes were Baker's, 2 interceptions, and the first one was tipped, so that one always sucks. And I wasn't able to watch the last one. I think I was talking or something. I was doing something that I missed it, but it was pretty close to the end of the game anyways. But you had to try, but it was a good back and forth game. Honestly, like Mike Evans was great. Like
had a hell of a game.
Honestly, there, Buffalo, if you want to get somebody.
No, Miami, grab him. You need bigger receiver. You need to get other receivers in game.
Right? Somebody who brings some strength, brings some power.
A good end zone threat.
Yeah, Mike Evans could definitely
red zone
do
threat.
That. Yeah. Well, red zone,
end zone, but
both for.
Yeah.
But I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jahmyr Gibbs. They got some weapons there, so it's going to be a really exciting game. Lions versus the 49ers. But like honestly, I just love the back and forth. Like I was like, oh man, this is a good game. I want it to end though.
I had a fantastic fantasy day, but even though I lost and nothing new, but I had like Amon-Ra St. Brown and Sam Laporta and Rashad White, and they all did wonderful.
And, well, I mean, I had Gibbs, so he got me a good chunk of points.
I'm gonna try and I am going to be sad that I'm not having all these players next year, but still, these were two of my favorite teams going into the playoffs. Like I'm just excited. I was just excited for this and watching this.
For me, well, two things. One quick point. Laporta is a top 3 tight end. You're gonna go after you. I don't know if you're gonna go after Kelsey, but Mark Andrews, Sam Laporta, 1 and 2. I feel right there. Travis Kelsey could still be in the top 3. Maybe George Kittle at 4, but and maybe Dalton Kincaid around 5. There's a lot of choice, but
maybe Trey McBride,
Njoku, Evan Ingram, but Sam Laporta really feels like top 2 for me. 1, 2, maybe 3, but Evan Ingram had a good year. But that's fantasy talk for over the summer. For me though, it was hard. I wanted both teams. I like watching both of them. A little bit more about the Lions because I wanted to see them in the championship game. I'd love to see them make it to the Super Bowl. They're the only NFC team that's never made it to the Super Bowl, right?
I believe so. I believe we
talked about this privately, I think, and said that because there were a lot more teams like the Browns and the Jaguars and the Texans who didn't make it to a Super Bowl. So forget if there's any other teams on that side of the in the AFC, but
this is the only team in the NFC that hasn't made it.
Right, and it's just those 3, I think, and teams haven't won it on both sides, but
that's a longer list.
Yeah, never made it though. But I would love to see the Lions in the Super Bowl. I'm still looking forward to the Lions and the 49ers, but this should be a good game. This was a good game, a fun game to watch. And who plays first? Is it the NFC game or the AFC game?
I believe the NFC is on Sunday. I don't know.
No, they're both playing on Sunday. I think one's at noon, and
then I believe it's the NFC.
Plays last.
Plays first. I think they play 3:30 Eastern.
Oh no, it's 3:30 specific. I just checked.
Oh, okay.
Noon for the AFC. So good because I'm a little more excited for the Lions Niners game. So but yeah, it was a close game, and everybody came to play. Honestly, good
they have so much
too. So
right, the defense on Detroit, Brian Branch did wonderfully. Melifonwu is making a name for himself because I didn't know who Melifonwu was, and now I just like saying Melifonwu.
I mean, I remember hearing him a few times this season, but
this season he's definitely.
What year is he in?
Let's see. Give me a second. He was drafted in 2021.
Okay, so he's still pretty new. Only his 3rd year.
Yeah, he's doing good.
Right.
I saw some of the plays. He definitely helped, and I'm glad he's I know Tom Grossi was upset that the Lions drafted Brian Branch. I'm good. He shares my pain because the first two like picks that the Lions made were everyone the Dolphins fans wanted. Jameer Gibbs and like Jack Campbell. They were I've like heard all about those in the like Dolphins and like yeah, it's like, well, the Lions picked right.
And I remember the year we jumped up for Javonte Williams free over the Dolphins because we did. It was one pick.
It worked out. We got Javon Holland. We both won. We both did fine that draft.
Right. That was last 2022. Or was it 20?
Yeah.
No, it was 2021.
Yeah.
This was his third year. So, anyways, honestly, Aiden Hutchinson came to play too. Like, he is definitely a beast. Or as the broadcast was showing, he was Wolverine. So wrong X-Men, but beast Wolverine. Still good choices to
He's some sort of lion
kind of powerhouse.
You're right. He's some sort of lion Wolverine in beast fusion thing.
Right. Or is he Colossus? And Montgomery's the Juggernaut. When he gets going, like I don't want to stop him.
Yeah, they're gonna change, right?
So, other than that, I think we're good on that.
Yep. Just wish, man, we should kind of went into overtime with how good it was. But Baker made that interception. But good on the Lions. I'm excited for them. I hope they beat the 49ers, but it's going to be like probably one of their toughest games this season.
Oh yeah, Lions. Yeah, that's gonna be a tough game for both of them, but that's why it's a championship game. So
yep.
All right, so speaking of that, let's go through the Niners and stuff. And so this was so everybody wants to say, like, I thought about it and then I looked at the score and I thought about it back and forth. And like Green Bay played good, but I can't say they played a good 59 minutes and that the Niners won in the last minute, because at half San Francisco was up by a point. It was 7-6. So by that definition, no, they didn't actually play a better first half. The Niners did. They played a better quarter. They had the lead going into the half. The Green Bay Packers played a great third quarter because they were up Niners they were up 21 to 14. And then it was all the Niners won the fourth quarter. They came from behind. I don't know, somebody, and you know what? I love, like we've said, we love first things first. Don't know if they will ever respond to me on Twitter or here, or at least Nick Wright. But Nick, I'm planning to watch your show. We're recording this Sunday night, so I'm very interested, because you're not going to hear this before then, but I want to know why. And I asked you this, like, what else does this man have to do? Why do you keep moving the goalposts? Everybody's saying you're moving the goalposts. Debo got hurt, played from behind, comeback victory, like game-winning drive. 3 things. Nick and anybody else out there that questions Brock Purdy, what else does this man have to do for you to win? Like, you don't have to say he's the best quarterback ever. Could he possibly become like Tom Brady? If he wins a championship, he is one of the greatest ever. Because there's only right now there's only 50. There's only like, with the multiple wins for some quarterbacks, there's only a certain number of starting quarterbacks, Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. So I don't know what else, if he wins one, that's fantastic. So I don't know what else he has to do to, to win you over. Like, you're really moving the goalpost because he's good. And honestly, like we said, I'd take him in my top 5. I would take him as my quarterback. And I think a lot of people would And does he need talent? Yeah, everybody needs some talent. But sometimes the talent makes the quarterback. Sometimes the quarterback makes the talent. Because you could argue Nico Collins been in the league for 2 years before the season. Now Nico Collins is a name, like, people know. So I love Brock Purdy. So I don't know where else we got to go with that.
I feel like he has to throw for 500 yards in the Super Bowl to make Nick happy.
Possibly.
He has to throw the ball and catch the ball. He has to throw it to himself and score a touchdown.
Brock Purdy would be like the first one to get a ball deflected, like that Brett Favre one, where he catches it and then he runs it in for a touchdown for himself in the Super Bowl. Like, it would be one of those random plays.
Right. Trick play. McCaffrey throws to Purdy.
I can see it, especially with Kyle Shanahan. So
right.
Anyway, but yeah, like, honestly, looking at the score, so like the Packers really, they just won the third period. They won the third quarter. Yeah.
To be fair, they won the odd quarters because technically it was 3-0 in the first quarter. And San Francisco won the even quarters. and when it comes down to it, those are the ones to win.
Right? As long as you can score enough. No.
Yes.
Because I mean, I think the Cowboys won the fourth quarter against the Packers, but it was kind of too little, too late.
Right.
But you need a fourth period. No. No, the Packers put up a great fight. The Jordan Love made the worst mistake of his whole season.
Just sucks to make the worst mistake of your season at the worst possible time.
Right, like end the game. And they did it in the beginning, could have recovered, but Brock Purdy didn't turn it over. Everybody, he played well without Debo. They he didn't play great, played good. He won the game. So I don't know what else. I don't know what else is needed, but like the defense looks good. We'll see how they do against the Lions. That offense versus that defense should be a fun matchup. So.
Right? Yeah, both teams' offenses and defenses against each other is going to be wild.
Right? Unfortunately, with the way the teams look, I just thought about it. I'm like, unless the Lions win, we're getting a Super Bowl rematch either way.
Yeah, the 49ers win, it's a Super Bowl rematch. If the Lions win, it's a new Super Bowl, no matter what. So really, it depends on the NFC team. Granted, I'd rather see I'm hoping for Ravens Lions, then Ravens 49ers, then because I really don't want to see the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that will be unbearable for the next 2 weeks, actually.
Especially just with how some Chiefs fans get.
I mean, to be fair, you're just talking about Nick Wright, aren't you?
Is he not a big enough Chiefs fan that becomes insufferable when he talks about the Chiefs?
Fair. I mean, other than that, I actually agree with a lot of what he says.
I just said when he's talking about the Chiefs, he becomes insufferable. Everywhere else, he's pretty good, and he's one of my favorites on there. Granted, I love all of them, but they all have times when they become insufferable as well.
Talking about the breakdancing part, aren't you?
You know it.
I know what Brew did.
Yeah, his breakdancing stuff is the bad part, but the cowboy stuff's hilarious.
Right. Hey, but at least he called the Eagles breakdancers at the end there too. So, right? Yeah, it was the Eagles stuff.
Send him breakdancing cowboys.
I think the show could already do that for him anyway. So,
God, that would be
him
great.
being the cowboy, I should be saying.
Can we get someone to do that? Can I do that? Can I get the picture of him to do that for shits and giggles?
All right, so like I said, that was my favorite game one of my favorite games of the weekend. They were all good, great games, honestly, for the weekend. I'm, like I know people say like, oh, the divisional round's the greatest weekend, and I'm like, is it? This weekend, I agree. Like, this was a great weekend for
there's just becoming matchups. Less and less football.
Yup.
That hollow feeling, like after the Super Bowl. Oh, I'm excited for the Pro Bowl though.
I know we're weird ones. We like Pro Bowl. Still some extra football. They have fun.
Right.
That's all I care about. If they enjoy it, I'll enjoy it. So,
and I get to see Peyton Manning coach Tua. So,
right,
and the other Dolphins. So
anything else on the Packers? Like, man, those their wide receivers and tight ends.
They're going to be good. They can just spend money on defense with all like the young talent they have on offense. They might need to get a running back. Like they might need to I don't know if they pick up maybe Derrick Henry or someone younger. You draft one because there's always good running backs in the draft. So
honestly, understanding why the Packers didn't re-sign some like MVS and Alan Lazard and who else? One other one, not Devontae Adams.
Equanimous St. Brown I thought was on their team, but they got rid of him.
No, there was another one that was. I'm blinking. I don't. It was.
They have really good wide receivers now that are working really well. Randall Cobb.
There was. There might be another one, but honestly, these guys like they definitely know how to draft, and I feel like they've drafted. I think all these guys right now are better than what Aaron Rodgers had the last few years. So I don't know if there's somebody else. I don't know when Brian Gutekunst took over, but the Packers, they have been nailing these wide receivers and tight ends and just like players. Like, in all honesty, because Aaron Jones is still awesome. So everybody has been they feel like they're future studs. Like the question is do they re-sign them? Do you come back to the system? Because sometimes you leave and you don't do as good. So depends on what you want. Money versus your career kind of thing. So
right. Well, I think it'll be great to see the Lions and Packers fighting it out for the division next year, and hopefully if they play on, hopefully it's and for Lions are hoping. Let us hope we don't play the Packers on Thanksgiving, and hopefully it is not a wax and give us moan.
That's probably gonna happen again. At least I
Lions
want
on
to see
Thanksgiving.
Lions Packers on Thanksgiving Day. So,
but the waxing gibbous moon, the phase of the moon will probably be there.
Probably, but I still want to see the game. So, but the defense also looks good. Like I don't know if Joe Barry's gonna. Yeah, we'll see what happens with Joe Barry. Right. But I like some pieces, and I can't wait to see what they draft this coming season. So, and if they get anything in free agency. I know they don't usually do a lot in free agency, but I'm excited to see what else happens. What they do. I mean, it helps. I love Tom Grozzi, so and Kathy's a fan too. So seeing people I know, a friend as well as one of my favorite people on, one of my favorite football media fans, football guys,
content creators.
Like I love to follow, them and their team. So like their stuff excites me. Seeing his stuff, seeing their stuff, their teams do good and what they do. Like I'm always interested. Like I got my team, but I would, there's something to it to just be able to enjoy, people that make you happy. And Tom Grozzi definitely makes me happy. Like he makes me enjoy football in different ways. And and he's just such an awesome dude. I want to meet him. I wish I was feeling better that I could have met him when he came out here, but I hope I'll be able to have another chance to meet him someday.
Right.
So with that, like good job. Niners defense looks solid. I mean, I think they got Chase Young at the steal.
Right. Commanders just giving away all their good stuff.
Right. But Dre Greenlaw, 2 interceptions. Like I know they lost Hafunga, right?
I think that's his name, yeah.
But Greenlaw and Fred Warner, like those two guys are solid. And then Greenlaw's been he's fantastic.
They have some of the best players on defense, and with them and Fred Warner, Javarius Ward,
Bosa and Young. So
and Eric Armstead came back.
Travarius Ward, dude. I saw like Aaron Jones. Like I was really like Travarius Ward was literally the only person I think that was going to be able to beat that Aaron Jones couldn't beat. Like I saw him speeding down there. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, could he take a punt return sometime? But no, I'm ready to see. I'm ready for Niners Lions. Chiefs Ravens should be good too. Glad we got the NFC second. Man, I can't believe I gotta wait a week. Like, I mean, I guess I'm happy we got the Royal Rumble coming up on Saturday, so that will at least like deflect or defer my what's the word I'm thinking?
Distract.
Put my attentions elsewhere.
Distract yourself with, yeah.
There's a lot of words I think that I could be using. Defer, deviate my divert. Divert is actually the word I was thinking. It was what I was trying to figure out. Divert my attentions. Thank you, John. A lot of words in the English language, but that is a podcast for another show.
Yeah. Generic word podcast coming never, not by us. Maybe if we get bored.
We can see. We'll figure that out. So
we might feel frisky,
right? The whole we can look into that. But for now, do you have anything else to add to divisional weekend?
Sure was a super divisional weekend. For soon, super championship weekend.
Right. This is the Intercontinental or the U.S. Championship round. The Super Bowl's the World Championship title match. So
yep, ready for that Super Bowl. Everything has to be added with super, even the one that's super.
So what's the championship round here then?
Super Championship, Street Fighter Super Championship Round Turbo,
Alpha Edition.
Yes.
I don't know. It's fine. I'm ready for the AFC and NFC championship games.
I'm labeling the championship edition episode as many editions as there were of Street Fighter 2.
If you want to. All right. With that, we'll try and get another podcast out this week. We definitely want to talk about the coaches because it's been kind of slow, and we'll talk about maybe we'll get some wrestling, some wrestling in, some basketball. We'll figure it out. But nothing else, we're all good.
Yep.
All right. With that, please like, share, subscribe, give us some feedback, and enjoy the championship round. We'll see you here next time. Thanks for joining us, and bye.